I am Professor Hellstorm, and today I'll be telling you all about the balanced data slate that's over here. What's in my pocket? Oh yeah, I remember. I can't see in these glasses at all. These are very intense. Everything's really blurry. But welcome, my name's Professor Hellstorm, and today I'm going to tell you about the balanced data slate, as you can see. Okay. It's too early for these bits. This isn't a bit. It's just me. I always do this. Okay, Games Workshop have sent me, Professor Hellstorm. Sorry, it's been a while. It's been rough at this. I can't read chat. I can't. Okay, I'll just have to pretend, alright? I'll pretend I'm reading chat. Okay. You look 11 out of 10 hot in glasses. Thank you. I always wear glasses because it shows how intelligent I am. Anyway, Games Workshop have sent Professor Hellstorm the balanced data slate, the core rules FAQ, which is brand new, the rules commentary, which has all been updated, and every single index. Okay, let me tell you, this is what we're going to be talking about. As you can see, to start with, we're going to be talking about the balanced data slate and the tournament pack. I'm glad you can see because I can't. I'm just having to go off what I remember when I wrote this down yesterday. There are humongous core rule changes and army changes, and they're all in this section, okay? The next section, which is going to be the center, which is for me when I actually am on stream, is nowhere near the center. It's actually over to the right, okay? The center is going to be talking about the core rules, which is actually where Games Workshop, for the past year, I've been begging them for an FAQ. They said, we're not going to do an FAQ. They've done an FAQ. Okay, they've done an FAQ, even though they kept saying they weren't gonna. Alright? And then finally, army updates. We're gonna do army updates. There it is. Minor changes to every single data sheet, kinda. A lot of data sheets have been changed, okay? Because it feels like there's way more changes than there actually is. Because what they've done is they've changed some core rules, and then all of those rules have been changed around it, okay? Thank you for the gifted, Jamartin. Really appreciate it. And also, thank you, Jamartin, for the second gifted as well. Appreciate it. Thanks for the 2 gifted, bud. Really appreciate it. It's very kind of you. Okay, so your army might have changed, but actually the core rules changed. And we'll talk about those things first. But the main thing is that your army has updated, but actually a lot of it is that they've just followed with the core rules. However, if you play if you play Sisters, if you play Orcs, if you play Necrons, if you play Admech, if you play Thousand Suns, and if you play Tyrannids, your armies have had a huge change, okay? If you don't play any of those armies, don't worry, the entire game's changed, okay? The entire game has changed, so we've got a lot to talk about, alright? So the first page is, the balanced data slate is crazy, as you can see. Hank, don't abbreviate command points. Hank, don't do it, okay? She's always a funny one when we all go around shouting, I love CP. Really yikers. Thank you for the 5 organ. Really, I actually can't see. I actually can't see in these, okay? Thanks so much for the 5 organ. Really appreciate it. Okay, let's talk about command points. You might have heard about command points there, where we don't call them CP, okay? Command points in our game of Warhammer are very important. And things that are very important in Warhammer is taking characters that make battle stratagems free, and then you can use it multiple times a turn. Say 07 for that, okay? Battle tactics aren't the only stratagem you can affect now. I've got no hand, okay? The battle tactics aren't the only stratagem you can affect with rights of battle, etc. However, everything that says you can use this stratagem for 0 CP in addition to multiple phases has gone. All CP modifiers now just reduce the cost by 1, okay? So, for example, a captain right now has the rule, rights of battle, before this is actually published, has rights of battle. Basically, what that means is you can use the stratagem on that unit for 0 CP, even if it's been used for another time this phase. No, it doesn't say that anymore. What it actually says, or will say, is you can use a stratagem on this unit and it costs 1 less. Full stop, the end. Okay, you can't use stratagems multiple times per phase via rights of battle or anything anymore. As far as I'm aware, they've got rid of every multiple use of stratagems, unless it says a specific stratagem, such as Fire Overwatch, which I think is for like the Hexmark and the what's the guy from Eldar, the Dire Avenger guy? You know who I mean. You know who I mean. Okay. But this is army-wide, or game-wide even. It says every ability that uses a stratagem for 0 CP, unless it's specifically named, can now affect every stratagem in the game, which is also good for like Adeptus Custodi character detachment. Now they can use every stratagem for 0 CP or 1 CP less. However, you can't span the same CP. So right, so Red Rampage for all Blood Angels, RIP. Okay, okay. The other thing, which everybody takes as in the Imperium army, that way. All CP negative modifiers, such as a Vect, are now a 12-inch aura of it costs 1 CP more to use. Okay, so what that means is that you have an aura of a 12-inch of, it's called Lord of Deceit. All stratagems being used with a 12-inch cost 1 more CP. Okay, actually cringe. Okay, actually cringe. So all the first one, all stratagems can be affected. Cool. Can't use it multiple times a phase. Cringe. Modifiers are 12-inch aura. Also cringe. If my Calidus is within 12, he's already dead. Okay. And then add new units. Add new units, such as reinforcements, are all once per battle. So anything that is a stratagem that allows you to re-add a unit to your army, such as reinforcements in the Imperial Guard, once per battle. These are game-wide. These aren't faction-specific. This is everybody. Everybody. Okay? I can't see any changes on the website. Well, you have to watch my stream, but also if you sort it by Z to A, then it came up for me. Okay? Okay? That's why I'm doing the stream 15 minutes early. They say if it's on the website, it's fine. I see it on the website. I saw it. Okay? Okay, so they are the command point changes. Stop calling it CP. That's what nonsense called it, okay? Next, even bigger changes. You get devastating wounds. You get devastating wounds. Because devastating wounds are back. Kinda, a little bit, okay? Devastating wounds are back in the game. They now cause mortal wounds again. However, devastating wounds, when they cause mortal wounds, those mortal wounds don't spill, okay? Now, you're probably like, Mikey, what are you on about? The thing is with this is that it'll act the exact same way as it does now. Essentially, devastating wounds ignore saves. You can still feel no pains against them. The crucial thing is, if you have an ability that allows you to ignore mortal wounds, it now works again against devastating wounds. Looking at you, Custodes, for example. So obviously, when devastating wounds became ignore armor saves, things that ignored mortal wounds now didn't interact with devastating wounds. Essentially, with this change, that devastating wounds are back, but not back. They cause mortal wounds for a sense of, if you have a thing that says ignore mortal wounds on a 4-up, you get that, but the damage doesn't spill over, okay? So this is a really nice change. Obviously, getting rid of devastating wounds in the first place was like a nice caveat of like, well, they're just killing armies, so get rid of it. It'll just ignore saves so it doesn't spill. So now they cause mortal wounds but don't spell. Okay, that's the main thing. So if you have something that ignores mortal wounds, looking at Space Marine Chaplains, looking at Custode, Null Maiden, or Null Aegis, I think it's called. Anything that ignores mortal wounds now has a feel no pain against devastating wounds again. Okay. Then chat off, I can't see the PowerPoint. Okay. What if I just move it further up? How's that? Okay. I like having you there. I like having you on screen. I can't read you. I like having it. Is this real? Are you high? We sure? Is this real? It says June 2024 in the title. What are you on about? Okay. Also, game-wide, another game-wide change. Stratagems that cause lone operatives, so you can't target me unless you're within 12, are now capped at 18. This is the Hallowed in Fire. Grey Knight 1 is the specific example they give. Essentially, if you can cause something to not be able to target you outside of a distance, it's now 18, okay? That's the cap. That's the cap. Okay, I'm going to take a little sip. If you've got any questions so far, now's the time to ask. Third balance date slate, meal, Minotaur, Field Man, Deathwatch are being ignored. Not true. Deathwatch have had a points drop. What the F is this? This isn't Elden Ring. True. True. Okay. Right, chat, you're all confused, so I'm just going to keep going, all right? I'm just going to keep going. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is the June 2024 Balance Data Slate, okay? We're going through it. Faction changes are good for the game, okay? Haven't Custodes lost their army-wide Thunder Paint? Yeah, but they still have access to it in Null Ages, which is one of the detachments. It's the Talons of the Emperor detachment. Okay. Looks at the GK strat in the index and it still says 12. It does, but it is now 18 because of the Balanced Data Slate. Go over the Dev Wounds again. Really? You actually want me to go over the Dev Wounds again? I'll skip forward too far. Devastating Wound. Cause mortal wounds, but these mortal wounds don't spell like mortal wounds. So they essentially act the same way unless you've got an ability that lets you ignore mortal wounds with a feeling of pain, right? Like Chaplains, right? Chaplains have +1 to wound in combat, but also ignore mortal wounds on a 4+. Now they will get that against devastating wounds, but they won't get it against like anything else. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, cool. Goals. Adeptus Custodi time. Let me talk about it. The goals of talk about Adeptus Custodis is make these detachment rules good, because they aren't. They're crap. The activities we have are to make the character detachment actually usable. Not only make all detachment rules good, let's make the character detachment good. The evaluation after this is to stop Custodi players crying. Okay. So they spill. No, they don't spill. Oh my god. Okay, one sec. We just need to pause, right? Pause. Devastating wounds are back, okay? Devastating wounds cause mortal wounds, right? Right? Because they used to ignore saves. At first they caused mortal wounds, then they just ignored saves. Now they cause mortal wounds again, but these mortal wounds don't spell. So if you're playing a normal game where no one ignores mortal wounds, you're playing the same game you were yesterday, they just ignore saves. The difference being, if you have an ability that allows you to ignore mortal wounds, you can now get a feeling of pain against it, for example, okay? For example, Chaplain, Space Marine Chaplain, the ability is called... God, my eyes hurt so much. Chaplain, in Terminator armor. He has an ability called Recitation of Battle. While this model is leading the unit, models in that unit have a Feel No Pain 4+ ability against mortal wounds. So now, before, he would only get that against specifically mortal wounds. Now, it gets it against devastating wounds caused. However, those devastating wounds don't spell. So they ignore saves, but you get Feel No Pain against it if it causes mortal wounds. Just take the glasses off. That'll ruin my whole look, okay? Right. The big changes. Martial Mastery, which is the shield host war turn for Adeptus Custodes. Instead of calling a war turn and getting really strong, you actually choose an ability every battle round, such as crits on 5s or improve the AP. So if you play Custodes, poggers, okay? Very cool. Very pog. Screenshot of that right now. The eye pain means the glasses are working. True. So, very cool. So, instead of having one go turn, you now get that every single turn, but you choose one. Okay. Character units, not models. This is for the character detachment. Not only do they now are they able to use their reduce CP by 1, or reduce the command point cost of this stratagem by 1 for every stratagem in the detachment, because none of them are battle tactics. Also, now the +1 to wound ability for the characters now affects the models in the unit. Okay, so you attach Trajan into some wardens and attack your chosen target. Everybody gets +1 to wound, not just Trajan. Okay, each time a model in a character unit. That's the main change there. Okay, so those two detachments, while this one was already pretty good, now really good. This one, now really good. Spam the cheapest characters possible. Half your army is going to get +1 to wound, okay? And you're going to have loads of stratagems to use for free as well, or very cheap anyway. Okay. As I've already mentioned, dev wounds, like mortals, but not, because Null Aegis in the Talons of the Emperor detachment now lets you ignore dev wounds again, because obviously they used to have it army-wide, then they made it Talons of the Emperor only, and then Devastating Wounds didn't cause more wounds, so they didn't ignore it, but they did with an FAQ, but now they do again, okay? I know that's very confusing, but again, the main takeaway is you ignore mortal wounds if they're caused by devastating, but the devastating wounds don't spell, okay? And then finally, Profane Zeal is reasonable. Actually decent, dry your tears and roll for pause. I can't remember what Profane Zeal is. I think that's a title from a previous stream, alright? sisters kind of pog, alright? sisters, kind of pog. What's next? Okay. Does anyone remember Chaos Demons, alright? Because they've had a huge update. All greater demons have a 6-inch aura of the shadow to force battle shot test. So obviously it's like, whilst you're within the shadow, enemy units have to take a battle shot test at -1. If they fail, they take D3 mortal wounds. Now all greater demons have that as an aura, which is actually sick, okay? So not only is the shadow part of the battlefield, all of your big gribblies, excluding Bellicor because he has his own shadow, all your big gribblies now cause the shadow. They're really scary. But also the same thing, demons can deep strike with 6 away instead of 9 whilst in the shadow. Now, if they deep strike near their chosen chaos god, so Bloodletter's near a Bloodthirster, for example, they can deep strike within 6 of that unit, but only 6 away. So now what you're going to have is your big gribblies causing fear everywhere, and also allowing smaller demons to deep strike next to them, even if they're within 9. They can now deep strike within 6, or just over 6, if they're near their chosen greater demon. I think that opens up a lot of cool things for Chaos Demons. I think that's a really cool ability. And again, the Shadow ability, the Shadow of the Warp, not Shadow of the Warp, Shadow of Chaos, because the Shadow of the Warp is the Tyrannids, being like, if you control half the number of objectives in the battlefield, that becomes the Shadow, is a cool concept. But now it's like coming from the demons because they are pure terror. I think that's really cool. I think that's really sick. Okay? Oh yeah, do you like the memes I randomly found? Remember, demon can be offensive. Remember, they are mortally challenged. Anyway, what's next? Oh, my eyes hurt. Just so you know, these aren't Georgie's, like, prescription glasses. They're just reading glasses. I don't wear reading glasses, so they feel really odd. Okay, maybe I wear them like this. Like a real professor. Honestly, that's 2 for 2. Oh, God. They're changing them. It's very strange. Okay. 2 for 2. 2 for 2. Feeling good. Alright? Said by the GOAT. Mikey left that note, and I was like, you know what? That's true. I, Professor Hellstorm, agree with that too. So I'll put that in. Okay. Anyway, are we all making sense so far? Are we all following? Alright? The chat's really big if I do this. It's just so weird. I can't handle it. I'm just going to go with blurry. Blurry is fine. Quick fire round, baby! Okay. Quick fire round. Time for new music. Let me tell you. Oh shit, I don't have it open. Quick fire round. Quick fire round. It's coming. It's coming. Where? No. This isn't going right. This isn't going correct. I should have had that open as well. Ah, my eyes. Wait. Chat, wait. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Look, I promise it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Is it this one? No. Quick fire round. Okay, wrong button. Damn it. Here we go. There's loads to talk about because loads of armies have lots of little changes, as you can see. Let's start with Dark Angels. Mace of Absolution is anti-monster 4+, and anti-vehicle 4+, and the power weapons are damage 2. Also, the Inner Circle get extra AP, and Grimazol gives you +1 OC. Also, the Deathwing Knights now choose, or the Deathwing Detachment, instead of just choosing one objective for vowed target for getting +1 to wound on that objective, they now choose every objective they don't hold. So they can choose any objectives they don't currently hold at the start of the movement phase, which is after the command phase. You can't do it in your deployment zone usually. The vowed target is now every single objective they don't hold. So they're going to get +1 to wound on every unit that's holding an objective that isn't their own unit. Okay? Very crazy. Very cool detachment now. Very, very interesting. Here we go. Astra Militarum. Visible for lethal. The end. Alright? If you want to get lethal hits by standing still, you've got to shoot something visible. So anything that's indirect is cringe. Also, there's a big change for indirect that they're only going to be able to hit on a 4+. If you roll a 1 to 3 unmodified, it automatically fails. So heavy's not going to do anything for you, and any other buffs aren't going to do anything for you. But we'll get over that in a minute. Master Machine War and the target augury web are no longer auras. Okay, so they have to choose a unit within 6, which is obviously fall back and shoot, and I can't remember the other one. I think it's lethal. Can't remember. Really good. Okay, one lethal, one fall back and shoot. They're now not auras. Iron Hands have actually taken a huge nerf, okay, in the terms of the Black Templar Gladiator spam. The other thing as well is Mercy's weakness for crits on 5 is now 2 CP. Very cringe. Grey Knights. Lone operatives can't target librarians, okay? And vice versa. I said that wrong. Librarians can't target something with lone operatives. So if it says you can't target over 12, I think someone's at my door. Give me a second. Awkward.
David Hughes celebrates 22 months of membership.
Sorry.
Hellstorm has just got a buff points wise.
Thanks so much.
Rejoined.
Appreciate it.
David Hughes celebrates 22 months of membership.
Did everyone read the quick fire round? Everyone do your homework? Right. As you were. Ironstorm did get a points buff because these enhancements are now 1 unit rather than whole units within 6. Okay? Have I put this on inside out? I have. We'll roll with it. Chaos Space Marines. Warp Talons can't teleport without killing a unit. Cringe. Disappointed you didn't answer the door in Professor cosplay. I know, cringe, right? Excuse me. It's funny because it's more stuff I can't talk about. I can't even tell you what I wrote. It was cool though. Finally, Necrons can't deep strike monsters 3 away. Okay? So Catanzo monsters can't use cosmic precision. What do Scout Sentinels do for guard now? Give +1 to hit. If you're visible. That's it. Or if there's any other modifiers. Incorrect enhancements have gone down. That's what I said. The enhancements have gone down in points because they've been nerfed. The enhancements have been nerfed there. Right, I can't remember what's next because I'm lost. But watch out! The biggest change is now. The biggest change is now. Okay? Are we all ready? This is by far the biggest change of the entire thing. You thought everything was crazy now. Wait for this. Imperial Knights can walk through walls. I repeat, walk through walls. This is by far the weirdest change I've ever seen. Okay? I'm very nervous about this. I don't think this is a good idea, and I don't think the repercussions are big enough either. Okay? So anything that is a super heavy walker, which is large knights and normal knights, can walk through walls. There is a small, very small catch. Okay? As you can see, as it says, super heavy walkers can move through sections of terrain that are less than 4 inches in height. It can also move through sections of terrain that are more than 4 inches in height. But on a 1, by rolling a d6, the unit becomes battle shocked. This guy is going to smash you up just by moving his knights through walls and killing you. So, large knights, big knights, Chaos or Imperial, anything that isn't an Armiger, can now essentially teleport through a wall And on a 1, they become battle shocked. I don't think that's a big problem. I think running big knights and just smashing them through walls is actually crazy. Because it doesn't move over, it moves straight through. Because all the movement cost, if you think about it, most terrain is like a thin wall. You just move the base through. Like moving it, they essentially move like infantry, but on a 1 they become battle shocked. So, who cares about battle shock? Also very true. Also, my point exactly, okay? So no, you won't be able to hold an objective during that turn, but you'll kill everything that's near it, and then you'll hold it the next turn, which is when it's important, okay? So, honestly, wild change. Wild change. I don't understand why that's a good idea, but but here it is, okay? So knights can tow in and shoot through buildings, and now they can also teleport through walls and on a 1, okay? I don't get it. I honestly don't understand.
Professor Hellstorm,
hey man,
pick up demons or stay on BA?
Should I pick up demons or stay on BA? I think you should stay with blood angels. You know, practice makes perfect. I always believe. But also, thanks to the 6 man, we appreciate it. So knights are basically the Kool-Aid man. Yeah, literally. Battle shock doesn't matter until it does. Yeah, but it hardly matters, right? It hardly matters. A knight is good enough at killing and charging, shooting and charging something without battle shock making a huge difference. Okay. Anyway. Orcs. Did you like playing orcs? I bet you did, because they were really broken. So let me tell you about orcs. Mob mentality, which is the invuln and reroll saves for orc boys with the units of 10, with the green tide. Now it's only a 6+, and only becomes a 5+ if they have 10 or more models, but they don't reroll saves anymore. Great change. Okay? Great change. Tide of Muscle is now +1 charge, because previously it was like +1 charge for every battle round it is. So it's like if it was turn 4, you get +4 to charge. No. Now it's +1 charge. If you're over 10 models, you reroll. Go Get 'em is a reroll instead of flat D6. If you move D6 if you end near or something. And then if you're over 10 models, it's now reroll instead of just like flat 6. And also Mega Knobs get a 5+ Feel No Pain during the war, not a 4+. Okay? Actually stupid. They were so stupid at 4+ Feel No Pain. They were so broken. They were honestly so broken. What does that mean for Chaos Knights? They have a strat for walking through walls. It means that'll work for Armigers, or they won't take Battle Shock. Where does it say changing direct? It's in the rules commentary. Anyway, so Orcs have had a nice, I think a good nerf, because I think Green Tide was starting to get a little bit crazy. And I think Mega Knobs with a 4+ Feel No Pain was really, really strong out of nowhere. So really, really good. These ones, we're just going to have a look at the data slate, okay? We're going to go through all the documents at the end to make sure I've not missed anything. But AdMech have had swathes of changes. I don't even know what's changed because so much has changed. I don't even know what's real anymore. Tyrannids have also had loads of changes, okay? So what the big one being Synapse gives +1 strength, as well as the 3d6 battle shock, which is really cool. Thousand Suns have had all of their psychic powers nerfed, which is like crazy. And then Marines, Impulsors can carry more for good reason, okay? Impulsors can carry 7 and Repulsors can carry 14, I believe. Okay, and you know why? You want to know why? No, you shouldn't take under-strength Orc Boy squads, alright? Remember last week we were like, whoa, call the Horde from Pariah Nexus? All you do is take units of 19. Just take units of 19, why don't you? No, stop it, alright? And your answer was, well, what about the transports that say take less so you can put them in? They can carry 7 now, okay? Because the main change is... Oh, I should just go back and look at the rules commentary now. The main change is Call the Horde is now units of 20, starting strength whatever, and also, when checking, check the starting strength when they were added to the list for the points cost, okay? So if you have a unit, there's a unit of 20, and you take 19 models, and they kill them, they'll get the points as if it was a unit of 20, because that's what you paid the points for. Okay? Let's open up the Tournament Companion. Impulsors to 7 is great. 6-man BGB with character. You mean Blade Guard Vets, right? But yes, Blade Guard with characters is great. Like, you can take, like, 5-man units or 6-man units of, like... I suppose it's just Blade Guard, right? But the big thing is repulsors can now carry units of 6 aggressors with the biologists, which is cool. And the character? No, just one. Just one. Okay, the Tournament Compendium is obviously one of the important documents, and that is out now as well. So there's been a lot of changes to the Pariah Nexus thing. The thing you haven't even got yet, which has been green screened out. Well, I'm see-through. That's crazy. I'm see-through. The thing you don't have yet has had changes, okay? To clarify it for playing tournaments, okay? Now, a lot of it hasn't changed. A lot of it's going to make a lot of sense. A lot of this is repeated as well, so we have access to it. 5-man incentives with Captain Lieutenant. Great shout. Good shout. So, recover assets, which was the new deploy teleport homers, is no longer fixed, okay? They were like, actually, we've taken out deploy teleport homers, and then we just give them a new one, all right? So, recover assets is no longer fixed. You can't take recover assets and cleanse together. Don't be silly. Also, they've kind of clarified assassination. So, any battle round, one or more any character models were destroyed, or models were destroyed during the game. I don't actually know the change there. If you are using fixed character model, yeah, they changed it to character model because it previously said units. So what actually happened is, I think I spoke about this on stream as well, is if you have like a captain in a unit of intercessors, previously it said kill a character unit. What actually happened was if you killed the intercessors and left the captain alive, you'd score assassinate because the character unit, which was the unit of intercessors, was technically destroyed. Okay. No, that was so auto. It's almost like they don't want you to have an auto choose, which is very funny. What else has changed? Call the Horde, as I've just mentioned, okay? So, starting strength for destroy unit was 20 plus. The total wounds characteristic was 25 plus at starting strength, but also, when that unit, player added that unit to their army, the points value they subtracted from the total for the battle was sufficient for that unit to be composed of 20 or more models. Which is very funny. It's almost like they missed that one. But they've re-added it. So if you take Orc Boys, you take a unit of 19, you'll still score Call the Horde. Okay? There's just something to be aware of, okay? So Call the Horde, just take 4 units if you're going to do it, alright? Finally, you can run Ragnar and Impulsor with Blade Guard. Yeah, you can, definitely. Also, they finally fixed hidden supplies. They finally listened. I kept complaining, and they said, Mikey, we have heard the call, okay? Before setting up this is the 6 objectives, and it splits into 2, okay? And it goes towards a corner in no man's land, unless there's no man's land, okay? The players roll off now, and the winner selects which corner the objective is moved towards, okay? So there is a roll off, and you do get to decide, which is good and bad, okay? It doesn't mean it's perfectly preset every time. If you're playing something like Dawn of War, Hammer and Anvil, Tipping Point, anything like that, you will have a roll off and decide where the first objective moves, and then the other one will go directly opposite. So you can kind of be a bit cheeky depending where the terrain is now. So it's something to watch out for. There's now a roll off for hidden supplies. Okay. Scorched Earth also said each time a player burns, because it was like at the end of each turn a player burns one, which didn't really make sense. So they just clarified that as well. There's some FAQs. I don't think there's anything crazy in there that's like super not obvious. But we will talk about pivot value. Which is very funny, which we'll go over, okay? This can cause some real issues, this is a big one to talk about. But also, Games Workshop have released the new missions, and I haven't got a crazy idea about any of these. I haven't looked at, like, a lot of them, but there are more missions than last time, and they all use very different. It's not all Chilling Rain. Search and Destroy is definitely one of the more popular deployment zones, I think. Dawn of War is only used twice. But the main takeaway from this is that there are terrain layouts, and we already had terrain layouts, but they've clarified the area of the bases, which I have, or correct. Okay, and they've also shown off 8 layouts that have measurements. Okay, so 8 layouts now, which is very cool. Actually, this is very cool. Okay, so they've clarified. Look, you can't draw a line of sight through here. It's very WTC pilled because of the eye icons. Because obviously Josh has put these together. It's very obvious he has. But now they've all got measurements, which is very sick. And there's 8 of them to choose from, which is actually really cool, I think. Okay? It's actually really, really good. So, like, they've clarified what the terrain means, where the terrain goes. It's actually terrain that you can actually use. So it's all just L shapes. So he's looking really good. You know what else is looking really good? Exclamation point shop. Okay. Exclamation point shop in chat right now, or exclamation point merch. If you go to the web store, you can actually buy tickets to not only the Woke t-shirt, which I'm not wearing today. I don't know why I opened this. But George, yeah. You can buy a Woke t-shirt, as you can see. Very cool. Very epic. Only available until the 7th of July. So only a few weeks left. Okay. And also, our tournaments run Games Workshop style terrain. We have already got these ready to update now. So I've got the new map packs ready to go. So the GW ones we'll be using multiple of those terrain types, which is very cool, along with all of the new missions on the 31st and 1st of September. So if you want to check it out, you want to come to a cool event in Sheffield, it's got a bar, a real bar, it's got aircon, it's got space, and it's not sweaty, okay? It's very cool. It's all going to be live stream as well. It's going to be very sick, so definitely come and check it out. I would really appreciate it. Very cool t-shirts. I just showed you the cool t-shirts. So we'll be using these, and I'm updating the game map terrain, which I should be announcing next week. So there's lots to update about the tournament. But that's the tournament companion. I think that's really good. I think all of the secondary changes are nice. Getting rid of like the auto, not deploy teleport homers, but almost deploy teleport homers is great. All of the terrain layouts look really good, especially for all the deployment types. A lot of them are going to feel very familiar, but also I like that they're properly laid out with proper measurements and stuff like that. So that's just really good, which is great. Okay, does it have a toilet to throw dice down? I'd appreciate if you didn't, but it does have a toilet. It has multiple, actually. And they're very nice. Okay, so that's the tournament companion. Obviously, that's super good. Let's have a quick look at the balance data slate, see if I've missed anything. As you can see, this is the modifying the CP cost. So this is... Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I keep pressing the wrong buttons. I'm not used to it. So this is the modifying the CP cost over there. So that's obviously the Rights of Battle reference, and also the Lord of Deceit aura, which is obviously Calidus, Bjorn, everything like that. This one about using it multiple times per phase, only if it specifies a strat, like Fire Overwatch. If it doesn't, you can't do it anymore, okay? This one is hollowed in Great Fire, so you can only, it says it's now cap 18, since there. And then finally this one that adds a new unit restrictions, you can only use it once per battle, okay? And then it goes into rules changes. So the rules changes, a lot of them we've already talked about. Adepts of Custodes we've already talked about. The Admech one is too much for me to understand, because I don't know Admech that well anyway, because you don't see them on the tabletop very much. So obviously, like, that's a load of changes. I'm sure someone can tell me in the chat all about the Admech changes. Basically, everything got more expensive, but also got a lot better. They got a lot more shots, they got a lot more damage, they got a lot more AP, etc. Okay? Mostly shots, though. You should start selling Boys Get Sad too. I'd buy that off you. Isn't that already a brand? We needed Tom to explain Admech. Yeah, Tom's been busy. He's been too busy planning the wedding for talk to me anymore. He never messages me back. He does, I'm joking. So yeah, so basically, loads of stuff with Admech has changed. I'm not well versed to talk about Admech, but essentially, loads of things got more expensive, but also got a lot better. Does that make Admech super balanced? I don't know. I'm not qualified to tell you. I'm Professor Hellstorm. I don't play Admech. All right. So obviously, that's something. If you are an Admech player, that is something to be aware of. That most of your army has changed. Now, a lot of this I think I'll go through soon, but they're the main changes we've already talked about. Okay, we talked about combined regiment being born soldiers. Only getting visible, obviously visible and visible, obviously a big one. Super heavy walkers, we've already mentioned. As you can see, we've talked about this. Walk through walls if it's more than 4 inches in height. Actually crazy, don't understand it. We've not talked about that one yet. I think I've got everything else. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation. We talked about the Tournament Companion. We talked about the balanced data slate. Let's talk about the other changes to the armies. Okay. But first, we have a rules commentary, okay? So the rules commentary, you all know and love. It's that massive document that just explains, like, what just after is. It means just after. But also, I've been nagging them to put up an FAQ together, because every event has its own FAQ, and they're all different, okay? Things that come up. Can you fire Overwatch whilst engaged with a vehicle because the big guns never tire? Can you dark pact behind a wall with Abaddon? Even though he's got no target, but technically he was selected to shoot. Little shit like that is different to every event. It's now in one document, and I feel like they've clarified a lot of it, okay? So here are the highlights. Bases for movement, okay? if the base fits, it can move. So if there is a gap now and you are on a base, if the base fits through the gap but the model's too big because it's got wings or whatever, it can now go through, okay? It can now just slide through because the base fits, which is obviously the important bit, okay? Because obviously when you're on a base, you measure everything to the base, all right? Pivot. Pivot, pivot, pivot. Someone insert the friends meme, okay? Vehicles and monsters can now pivot. We can already pivot. What do you mean? Okay? What the thing with it is, let me show you an example. This is a predator, okay? When it moves, you measure how far it moves. So if it moves 6 inches, you'll go, okay, it's going to move 6. All right? And then you want to go around the corner. So you're going to pivot 2 and then move the rest of your distance, okay? Now, the point with this is that Games Workshop are fed up of people getting caught out about how slow vehicles are when they have to go around corners. So now, if you move and pivot 2, okay, that's 8 inches. What if I want to pivot more? That's still 8 inches. What if I want to pivot more? That's still 8 inches. Essentially, you pay for the first pivot up to 2 inches, and then you can keep pivoting as much as you like throughout the movement. Okay? So you go, bam, and you can just keep pivoting. However, if you are on a round base, you don't pivot, because things on round bases have a pivot value of 0, which means they don't have a pivot value. They can just spin as they are free, okay? They can spin as much as they like. But they're on a round base. Pivoting is for things on oval bases and things that aren't on bases, okay? Let me show you something then. Okay, if we grab an impulse, we have an impulsor, okay? And as you can see, it has a round base, but it overhangs, okay? It overhangs. Also, Abe's, yes, you're correct. It overhangs the base. So what happens is, in the rules, is you measure to the closest part of the model to get in combat, for example, or range, or whatever. As you can see, it is on a round base. So it has 0 pivot value, which means it can pivot for free, as per the rules commentary, okay? If we just open that up and have a look, and I'll just show you what I mean. As you can see, pivoting around the central axis. This is moving without pivot. Moving with a pivot value of 0. This model has a move characteristic of 5 inches. It moves in a straight line, then 2 in another straight line. As this model has a pivot value of 0, it can pivot anytime during the move. Okay, so it can turn while it's moving. However, I do think this might cock up, because an impulsor can deploy like this, and it's got a pivot value of 0, so it can just spin round, get further range, and then move, for example. Okay? The point being, if you hide it behind a wall, right? You hide it behind a wall, and then you can pivot and make it stick out the side of the wall, and then move it anyway. And then when you get to the end of the move, you can just spin it back around again if you want to hide it. So they can pivot for free. A lot. These vehicles have a pivot unless they're on a round base, as per the tournament compendium, as I've just looked at. Okay? Just, as per the tournament compendium, let's just have a nosy, just in case I'm getting this wrong. I don't want to get this wrong, but I feel like there's some caveats here. I'm not telling you what you can and can't do. I'm saying there's something weird here. It sounds a bit weird. Models have a pivot value unless otherwise stated. Models that are not on a base have a pivot value of 2. Okay. Okay. Can you see it? What's that? So it's something to watch out for. I think maybe it needs a little bit more clarity on how pivot works, or I need to do some more research in just exactly how it works. I'm sure there's some weird shenanigans here with the fact there are some vehicles, such as a monolith, which is on a round base but overhangs every side. There is every Eldar vehicle that is on a round base but hangs out on every side, okay? They now don't pay any movement for flipping round corners if they stick out, you know? Your walls here, your walls there like that, right? They can't see. They spend no movement, but they stick out a little bit, for example, okay? Something to watch out for. That is mad. Yeah, so I think there's some shenanigans here. I'm not 100% sure just how it works yet, or the benefit. I feel like there's some real shenanigans with, like, especially Eldar vehicles, where their bases are essentially back here. Their base is essentially here. It's obviously a smaller base. So they don't stick out one side, they pivot for free, and then they stick out the other side, you know? They'll end up here. I feel like there's something weird there. Chat, do your research, look it up. Don't say I've told you to do anything, because I haven't. I've just told you there's some shenanigans, all right? So pivoting is very interesting, because essentially what they're trying to do is to stop, like, vehicles getting stuck, because you go 1, and then I've got to move a bit. That's 7 inches, and then I can only move there when I move 12. Rather, what they want is move 6, turn, move 6, or move 4, because you spent 2 to turn. That's essentially what they're that's what they're trying to do. Because they're finding in casual play, when people realize how vehicles move, they don't move very fast, because they move, and then they turn a bit, then they turn a bit more, then they turn a bit more, and they've run out of movement. Okay, what they want is you to move, turn a bit, spend some movement because you've turned, and then just keep going. Okay, but I feel like it's opened up a little bit of a can of worms with anything vehicle that's on a round base, rather than just saying it's vehicles wide. Okay. It should just be vehicles, because the compendium says anything that's on a round base, which obviously this is, okay? So, and again, watch out for Eldar vehicles. Don't do it. Just look into it, okay? Maggie, can you stand on objectives? Of course you can. Of course you can. The Rebel Predators are still good. They're even faster than they already were, because they can go around corners a lot quicker, okay? We've already said this one, dev wounds and mortal wounds, as you can see. This is on the highlights of the rules commentary. That's where that changes for dev wounds, because it was removed from the balanced data slate and then changed in the rules commentary. And also, indirect is now always on a 4+. It misses on a 1 to 3, okay? Always. This is in the rules commentary. Does making a pivot action count as a movement? Yes, it's part of the movement. So you have a pivot value of 2, which means you spend 2 inches to pivot once, and you can pivot as many times as you like. Okay? God, I'm so hot. I hope you're enjoying this stream, by the way. I hope you're enjoying the breakdown. I know it's a little bit different because it's a balanced data slate. It can only be. It's a very dry topic, but it's not, obviously there's so many changes that I'm trying to go through everything. Okay. Next, all of the other things. No falling back and throwing grenades on your way out, because you have to be eligible to shoot, but also you can't if you advance or fell back, or that's it. Advance or fell back, and you haven't shot yet. That's the main thing. So no fallback and advancing in grenades, because you can't do that anymore. You have to be eligible to shoot if you advance. No, it's not even you have to be eligible to shoot. You can't do it if you advance or fell back. You just can't be selected this turn. That is the other stipulation. So you can't fall back and throw grenades anymore, or advance and throw grenades, which is a bit annoying. Command rerolls. Now, fast dice have been a problem for a long time. Okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about, when you roll dice, okay, you go, I've got 20 shots, I'm going to roll 20 shots, okay? Technically, that's not how the rules work. The rules work as in you roll a hit roll, a wound roll, a damage roll, a save roll, a damage roll, and then you move on to the next one. You actually roll 1 dice at a time to resolve it. This is 1 shot, hit, wound, save, damage. That's how it works, okay? What that means is with a command reroll, technically you have to roll 1 at a time to decide if you want to use the command reroll. However, they've decided no, that's annoying because it makes people play too slowly. Now, if you have anything, not just command rerolls, anything that allows you to reroll a dice, such as you can reroll 1 hit roll, you can reroll 1 wound roll, for example, you can now roll it all together and then decide if you'd like to spend any rerolls. For example, if you've got 10 saves to make when you capture, you've got 1 wound left, you don't have to roll 1 at a time until you fail, then decide to spend a CP. You roll 10 saves, you see if you passed or failed at it, then decide if you'd like to spend a CP. This is just the quality of life. Technically, you gain more information, but so does everybody, so that's probably okay. Okay? So that's probably okay. So you just roll all your dice, and then you decide if you want to spend CP. It's a quality of life. So damage rolls, for example, just roll them all together. Save rolls, just roll them all together. You don't have to slow roll anymore. That's what they're trying to get rid of. They're fed up with people slow rolling. Okay? So that's like the big change as well. Tank shot is now based on your toughness, not your strength, which makes more sense because it's tanks. It's tanks charging. So why are they looking at the strength when the strength is always weaker? You are taking on the side of a tank. So you use the toughness value for working out how many mortal wounds or how many dice you're going to roll. Okay? Oh damn, I think we've been playing like that forever. Yeah, for sure. Because that's like how you would expect it to be played. But technically that's not how it's played. So in tournaments a lot of people slow roll. Because when you roll it all together, if you've got 10 saves to make and you're thinking about CP1, if you roll 1 at a time and fail the first one, you have no information. If you roll them all together, you gain loads of information of, oh, actually, I make all those other 9, so I'll re-roll the first one. but technically, that's how it does work. But now they've just said, no, please don't, just roll them all together. It's just like a slow thing. Casual players don't realize that's how you roll, and then tournament players are like, you have to slow roll it, and it's like, well, you just fucking throw them. They just, literally, the command reroll stratagem in this part of the data sheet just says, fucking roll your dice already, okay? Stop slow rolling, it's boring. So tank shot we've already mentioned. Primarchs aren't infantry, as neither is Belisarius Call, but they can move through walls. So just like knights, Primarchs can go through walls. Which is not a sentence I thought I'd be saying today, but Primarchs can go through walls just like Imperial Knights. Okay. Hanging off the edge is now a fog of war. So the edge of the battlefield, so you can technically hang a model over the edge, but if you're on a base, the base has to stay on the battlefield, but the wings and stuff can fly off. There was no clarification on how this works, but now you can't draw line of sight from the edge of the board. You have to be on the board to measure line of sight. Kind of makes sense. I once had this cork in a tournament, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. I don't see anything why you can't. And then they just poked Magnus's wing out from the edge of the board and just shot around the terrain with all of his psychic powers. And I was like, yeah, that wasn't a good idea. Why can they go through walls? Because the rules commentary says they can. What do you mean, why? They can go through walls. Do I have to, like, screenshot every rule thing to clarify? Yeah, they just can now. They just said Primarchs can. Primarch, Belisarius Call, and infantry can go through walls. What do you mean, source? The rules commentary! I'm talking about the rules commentary, Nate Knoll. You can't just say shit. I'm talking about the rules commentary, not that one. God damn it, I don't have it open. Ruins. Imperium Primarch and Belisarius Call and bees can move through this terrain feature. Infantry, Imperium Primarch, and Belisarius Call. Okay? God. Techno, if I didn't like you, I would have banned you. So yes, this is exclusively Imperium Primarchs. Should say it's not Demon Primarchs. They're still monsters, so they can't go through. But Imperium Primarchs are also monsters, but they're also tiny because they're on 60 mil. So it kind of makes sense. Because their Badon is an infantry. He's bigger than Gilliman and go through walls, but not them. Okay. And finally, Big Guns is finally locked. That's the other FAQ. So Big Guns Never Tire, they've decided is actually phase locked. It is a shooting phase ability. So you can't use abilities outside of your phase. If you're in combat, you can't Overwatch. Okay. That's the main thing. Professor Hellstorm, you are spoiling us. I am. I'm looking after you. Okay. There is much more to read, but most of it feels familiar. Okay. So there's loads and loads of questions. It's a huge document. So the rules commentary has been shortened because it's been answered in questions. Okay. But there's like 5 pages of questions, or just like proper like FAQ. But a lot of it feels familiar because you've already been doing it, okay? Tournaments have already clarified it. You already kind of know, but what they've done is they've clarified it as a question. Like, does this work like this? No, it works like this. So that's like a nice change. I'm so sweaty. I'm so sweaty. It's so warm today. Sorry, chat. Oh. Ah. Right, I'm gonna take those off. I can't see. Yeah. Right. Okay. What's next? But every codex got an FAQ, okay? Every codex got an FAQ as well. So everyone's had an update, just about. Sisters. Now, obviously, they've just come out, Sisters and GSC. They've been updated already, which is very cool, okay? Suffering and Sacrifice is now only models that target the unit. So this is the one where it's like, you're in combat with me, so I'm going to make your unit hit only my unit. Now it's only models. It doesn't affect the entire unit. So it's only models in engagement range with this particular unit can attack that unit. If you're in combat with a different unit, you can, and you're not in engagement range with the first unit, you can attack them instead. Because it's a bit of a gotcha one. It's like, oh, you're in combat with 2 units, you can only attack the Rhino, but you're not actually in combat with the Rhino. Only one guy is, so now you have that one guy has to fight the Rhino. No one else can fight. Now it's only engagement range of each particular unit. So if you go, the Rhino is usually suffering from sacrifice or whatever it's called, then essentially only things that are in combat with a rhino have to fight the rhino. That's the example. And then they've clarified some of the miracle die shit. It seems very obvious. I don't need to go through that. Regimental reinforcements, which is the Brood Brothers stratagem, actually didn't work. It just said set up a cult ambush marker when a unit died, then nothing else. Now it brings back a unit, but it is once per game because of the balanced data slate. Okay, so it's like reinforcements for a Brood Brother unit, but it is once per game because it's a reinforcement unit. Okay. The Nexus is limited to one model with this ability, so obviously most abilities that have a thing is say one model with this ability can use this once a battle round, etc. Now that's limited. And the Familiar is actually listed for the Biophagus, which I spelled wrong. But that's the little guy that comes with him. It was a War Gear ability, but he technically didn't have the War Gear. Again, it wasn't a crazy thing, but whatever. Next up, Castellan's Mark. And actually every redeploy you can think of. If you've got a redeploy, it's before the first turn roll. Doesn't matter if it says in the book that it's after, it's all now before. Even the ones that specifically said after the first turn roll, okay? Anything that is a redeploy is done before the first turn. They don't want alpha strikes, okay? That's what they're trying to get rid of. So they've got rid of it. Everything that is a redeploy, Tyrannids, Space Marines, etc., and Deptus Custodes, even though it specifically says in the book after the first turn roll, it is now before the first turn roll. It is a nerf for every redeploy ability in the game because everybody has had the same change. Shoulder the Mantle, which is essentially you can attach a character to a unit mid-game. Doesn't allow you to attach the same character to 2 units because it's obviously dumb. That's obvious. And then Valerian gains Deep Strike. He didn't have Deep Strike technically. Every unit in the book does, so he's got it as well. And then Vanguard Redeploy, as we've mentioned, also hit. They all are. I don't know why I wrote it again. Okay, so everything that's a redeploy is now after the first turn roll. Everyone's had the same update. Okay. Next up, Mega Knobs. We've already talked about Necrons, Night Scythe gain Deep Strike, and Cosmic Precision essentially gives Deep Strike. Is this new? Is this new? Because I feel like that's broken. So Cosmic Precision allows you to set up a unit anywhere on the battlefield more than 3 away. If you don't have Deep Strike, it probably didn't technically work, but now it does. I don't think that's new, but that caught me off guard and put the right down. That's crazy, okay? Because Deep Strike any unit 3 inches away, even though they don't have Deep Strike. Space Marines got a huge nerf, okay? Now, they've clarified how chapters... that's an old FAQ. Okay, thanks, bud. Gladiators, if you're taking Templars and Psychers, you can't take them whatsoever. So if you're running Ironstorm, you now can't take 3 Black Templar Gladiators, Lancers, and then a non-Black Templar Gladiator Lancer. They've said you can't take any of those vehicles if you have any Black Templar units, which you will have if you are wanting to take a Black Templar tank with a multi-melter, for example. Okay? And then... That's like a huge nerf. So the Ironstorm Gladiator spam has had another huge nerf. All the points rises again. They had points rises in the last one. They've now said if you take any Black Templar units, you can't take Psychers. It's not just if you take that specific detachment, which is how they tried to get around it before. If you took the Righteous Crusaders detachment, you couldn't take Impulsors, you couldn't take Gladiators, you had to take the Black Templar version, and you couldn't take Psychers. Now they've said if you take any Black Templar units, you are a Black Templar faction, you can't take normal Gladiators, normal Impulsors, normal Repulsors. It essentially makes you stick to the rule of 3, okay? Essentially the rule of 3, because you would take like 3 Gladiators, a Black Templar ones and multi-belters, then an extra one, and you could potentially take 4 or 5 or 6, and you can't do that. And you also can't take Psychers, so you can't take Phobos Librarian, for example. This one, CSM, Eager for Vengeance, which is one of the enhancements in the Black Crusade detachment. I can't remember what it's called. Essentially, you fall back. You get like the Focus of Hatred ability. You can fall back. You get +1 to hit. Now it's clarified you only get +1 to hit against the unit that you hate, because it kind of said you choose a unit and then you can just get +1 to hit, and it didn't clarify why. So now it's clarified that. Rhinos are mark locked. Obviously, they should be mark locked. If you're a Khorne Rhino or a Nurgle Rhino, you can't put Zinch units in there, for example. And then Dark Pact when Overwatch. You can Dark Pact when you Overwatch. You can't Dark Pact when you fight Undeath, because you're technically not chosen to fight, but you are chosen when you are Overwatching. And also, you can't Dark Pact if there's no target to shoot. This is a big one with Abaddon. He would Dark Pact behind a wall, go, I'm selecting to shoot. I'm going to Dark Pact. Oh, I have no eligible targets. I gain a command point. You can't do that anymore. You have to be able to shoot, okay? And it's when his unit uses it, so he doesn't do a separate Dark Pact anymore either. Oh, the big thing, Hunter's Instincts allows turn 1 rapid ingress. And full throttle can be reduced by CP by 1. Anyway, I love Space Wolves. Nova Charge. It's fixed the timing because it was just during the shooting phase. This is the Riptide. It just says during the shooting phase, select one weapon against devastating wounds. Now it's when this unit is selected to shoot, you decide if it's going to be devastating wounds, which is cool. And then the Crew Trail Shaper is the same update that the Tyrannids and the Space Marines and the Custodes update, but I just wrote it again. Okay, they don't get to redeploy before the first turn roll. Anyway, that's that one. That's the big thing there, as you can see. That's like a lot of big changes there as well. As I said, like Mega Knob's obviously losing it. These ones are interesting changes, but nothing. They're just clarifications. There's no real changes here. And then here, the same nerf as everyone else, the crew thing, and then the Nova Charge is when you select the unit to shoot. So it's not like at the start of the shooting phase I have to do all my Devil Wings first. Sorry, they both buffed the Thunderwall Cavalry and nerfed at the same time. Jokes aside, I bought them before the update. It's funny though. Anyway, now there's points. Now I haven't done any documentation for the points because there's too many. There's a lot. Some of the interesting ones, all gladiators have gone up in points because of the gladiator spam. Thunderwolf Cavalry and Wolfen have gone up because of the White Scars, Stormlance abilities. Admech have gone up because they've had loads of changes across the army, so they've gone up as well because they don't want them to be really good and already a swarm. Because in the right build, they're already really strong. Just people don't like playing that build. Now they're trying to make them good all around, but they've also had some points rises. So people are going to complain, oh, my army's more expensive, but also your army's way better. Okay. Custodes got some interesting points drops. Eldar had some more points changes, I believe. I think some of the spammable units have also been changed again. And Sisters got loads of points rises, okay? If you were scared of Sisters, I wouldn't be. All right, they're not quite as good as everyone was expecting. Let's have a look. Let's have a nosy. So Sisters, these are all red compared to the Codex points. I don't know what the original points are, but obviously they've had a lot of points updates from the Codex. So that's what you have to compare it to. So even though it looks like everything's gone up, everything might not have actually gone up, but everyone's rules changed. So that's the main thing. Okay. Custodes, as I said, all the Forge World stuff came down, which is cool, to make it a little bit more varied, which is nice, rather than just spamming all the Wardens. Admech, as I've already mentioned, the army got better, so the points went up. I think this is their way of trying to go, we'll give them loads of interesting things. The army has got good as a whole, so we'll update the points, because we don't want you to keep swarming, okay? Eldar, some of the units you don't see very often, like Azerman, who I was trying to talk about earlier, or the other big Autark guys, have gone down in points, but some of the spammable units have gone up, such as Wart Spiders, Swooping Hawks, Fire Dragons, etc. They've got very expensive now. One of my teammates practiced the Sisters Codex the other day with a 1775 point from the old Military Field Manual list. That list is now 2,300 points. Brilliant. This is why you shouldn't play until you got the new points. So don't bother playing until you got the new points. I was going to play a game last week with the GSC, but I was just like, what's the point? It's all wrong. You know? Your Brain went up, Wraithfall went down, so everything that you expect to see now has gone up a little bit. We really were playing the beta of 10th. We were. And Shadow Spectres have gone up as well. Understandable, because they're still spammable. They're very good. Agents didn't get touched. Ashton Militarum got some points drops on some things, because obviously Indirect has been nerfed as a whole. So everything that is at Indirect has also gone down in points, okay? Also the Rogal Dawn Battle Tank, because no one's running them. But everything that shoots Indirect can now only hit on a 4+1 modified. So even if you've got a modifier that gives you like +2 to hit, +1 ballistic skill, whatever, a 3 will still miss, okay? And then you only get lethal, you get line of sight. So they've basically gone, you know what? It's okay, because all the indirects got nerfed, so we'll make it a bit cheaper, okay? So you're going to be able to have a little bit more in your army, but it's not quite as effective with indirect. Templars, as I've already mentioned, Gladiator, Reaper, and Gladiator Valiant, the two most popular ones, have gone up to 170 points. There's now a 10-point difference for Gladiators in Black Templars and normal Gladiators for that multi-melter, okay? The abilities that ignore indirect rules still exist? No, I don't think so. And if they do, they still won't get around it. It just says no matter what, unmodified, ignore it. Unmodified miss. Chaos Demons, as I mentioned, they got some really cool, interesting changes. They got a lot better, and a lot of their units came down. So Demons have been struggling for a little while. I think they got some nice army changes, and the points changes, like I like the icing on top. So this is really, really good, I think. Index Chaos Knights. All the big knights came down in points. Well, most of them anyway. So the Megara didn't. This is going to be scary where they can teleport through walls, okay? This, not epic. Chaos Space Marines got a whole bunch of points changes. Obviously, some of their units have got pivot now, so all the vehicles have gone up a little bit. Warp Talon's got a points rise because their crew is very good, so 135 points of 5. And they have to kill a unit to teleport. Cringe. Raptors went up a little bit. Just some little tiny points updates, but the main one is Warp Talons because they're really popular. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more just so I can point to things you can actually see. So 135 points for 5 and 270 for 10. Dark Angels. Deathwing Knights got a buff. They also went up in points, but they also got a Vow Target. So I think the Dark Angels Deathwing detachment with the Vow Target is suddenly very interesting. Because again, that's +1 to wound for every objective you don't hold in the movement phase, which turn 1 is every other objective by your deployment zone. And if you stand off it in the movement phase, if you really want to, if there's any way to get back on it later, that's all the objectives. Okay, +1 to wound on all of them. But the Dark Shroud is obviously very popular with Ironstorm, so they got nerfed that as well, which is a bit annoying. Death Guard, the Putrefier, the grenade guy, because obviously he does make grenades free. He still doesn't let you use it multiple times a turn, but he's obviously very good. He's had a little points rise along with the Blight Spawn. But then Blight Lords have come down, Plague Surges come down, Blightbringers come down, and the Mighty Blight Haulers. So Death Guard players already kind of eating pretty well. Having like Blight Lords are really cheap now is really cool, because I think, what are Death Shroud? They're called Death Shroud, right? Death Shroud, 120. So for 35 points, you get 2 more bodies, which is kind of cool. Obviously, the Death Shroud are a little bit different. They have flames and stuff, but they're in a nice points place. 155 for 5 Terminators is super cheap, in my opinion. Especially when I think Space Marine ones are like closer to like 200, you know? And they're like P5, 2 up, 4 up, still pretty familiar. I don't know what the ability is. I haven't seen on tabletop in so long. But they're quite cheap for like Terminator bodies. Death Watch! You were not ignored. You got a points drop. That's it. Well done, Death Watch. Great job, everyone. Great job, everyone at home. Death Watch got a points drop. Artemis, Watchmaster, and the Death Watch variants all came down. That's all you get. You'll be happy. Okay? Okay. Drakari got some interesting changes. Grotesque never seen the table. They got dropped. Ravagers never seen the tabletop. Scourges got a funny update. As you can see, 5 Scourges is 120 points. That's very expensive. 10 Scourges is 180. That's only 60 points extra. Because obviously they're finding units of 5 Scourges are really good, but units of 10 don't get taken very often. So they've made the second 5 way more expensive, just like Devastators. I don't think you can take more than 5 special weapons if I remember correctly. I probably don't. But yeah, so Scourges are way more expensive for 5, but kind of cheap for 10. So they actually came down. Otherwise, they didn't really get touched. They get some extra stuff. Drakarian are in a decent place right now. Gene Stealer Cults. Obviously, these are all the new points. We don't really know what this means yet because we haven't seen them on the table very much. But Gene Stealers had lots of different changes, okay? From the Codex. I don't know what this means because we haven't seen them on the table. The Codex is untested or not tested so long ago. It doesn't mean anything. These are the new points for it, okay? Grey Knights had some weird changes, like Castle and Crow going up to 90 points. Thought was very strange. But Dread Knights both went up in points. Obviously, Dread Knights are super popular. People spamming Dread Knights. Storm Raven went up. Never seen a Storm Raven in Grey Knight list in this side of the century. Land Raider Redeemer also went up. Land Raider Redeemers in the Space Marine book went up as well. But Crusaders down. So everyone's spamming Redeemers because the Flame is good. Crusaders not. Crusader Bolter's not so good, so they don't take that one. What else we got? Imperial Knights. Scary. Okay, look at all these knights that are cheap. It's time to build a knights army. If you got one, start painting it, because I think it's now it's time to start playing knights, to be honest. Leagues of Votann didn't get changed at all. I think they got the Jaeger squad. Did we just say? Jaeger. Yeah, the Jaegers were added. They're 80 points. There you go. So that's the new kill team unit. Necrons. They nerfed Wraiths. They said they didn't want to nerf Wraiths. They just wanted to nerf the Technomancer. So you know what they did? They nerfed Wraiths because they should have been nerfed. Okay, so nerfs have gone up in, Wraiths have gone up in points, as has the Doomstalkers as another good unit in the Canoptic detachment. So they're both really good. So Wraiths got a big nerf. So now with the Technomancer, they are rocking how many points? Woo! 335 points for a unit of 6 Wraiths with a Technomancer. Yikers. Okay. Orcs. Megadov's gone up. Meganogs are too cheap. They're 40 points a model now. They've gone up 5 points per model and lost the really good Fear No Pain. Much better position. Not quite as scary. Not quite as crazy. Okay. Very good. Boss Snickrock went up. He's pretty popular. I don't think he's gone up very much. And then Weird Boy's gone up a little bit. He's 65 now. Basically starts triple race, triple doomstalk, and double Catan. Yeah, exactly. Professor, a question. Please go ahead. Got 10 points more. I thought they were 35 points. Were they only 30? Okay. I thought they were 35. My bad. Let me mention in this group chat. Where is it? Did units always, all of the models need to have deep strike for ability to rapid ingress? No, so basically rapid ingress allowed you to arrive from the battlefield in the opponent's turn. Previously, they arrived from strategic reserves, but people let them deep strike, okay? I think what they're trying to say is if all the models in the unit have deep strike, you can deep strike. If they don't, they come on for the board edge. I think that's the change there, as far as I'm aware. Why has it changed to the Black Templar? It's in the Balanced Data Slate, I think. So yeah, so I think what they're trying to say is rapid ingress. You can deep strike with rapid ingress. If you arrive in your opponent's turn, you can deep strike, but you do have to have deep strike. I think that's what they're trying to say. If you have one model with deep strike, then the unit can't deep strike, and that's always been the case. But it's just one of those fringe cases that people like trying to look. Can you rapid ingress 6-inch for demons? I don't think so. I don't think so because it's during your turn, but I will double check. Pain Boy and Pain Boss went up as well for Orcs. Forgot to mention that one. So Pain Boy's an interesting choice for Orcs, but they went up as well, which is cool. Space Marines, Gladiators got hit, and the Land Raiders got the same change as well. So Gladiator, Reaper, and Valiant both went up. They're all 160 or 170 playing Templars, and you can't spam them with Templars anymore. Fringe, Gladiator spam is dead, so glad I didn't buy it. Repulsor went down a little bit to 180. And then Ironstorm Spearhead, the enhancements are no longer auras, so they've made them cheaper. And then Storm Raven also went up. I don't know why. Only after that yellow card the other week. Space Wolves got nerfed. Oh my god, Maggie, you're so cringe. You bought Space Wolves right before Balanced Data Slate. I think it went up in points. Wow. Crazy. It's not like you can auto advance 19 and then rapid ingress in turn 1. Tau! How does deep strike work if a unit gets one piece of war gear? Would a character also need that war gear, i.e. Votan teleport crest? It depends on what the ability says. If it says this model has deep strike, only that model can deep strike. If it says the unit gains deep strike, the unit whilst attached has deep strike. Which I think what Martin's referring to. So I think the teleport crest gives the unit deep strike, but you just have to double check. So if it says the unit has, even if you attach a model that doesn't have it, because the unit's attached, so it has it. Unless it says exclusively this model has deep strike, only that model has deep strike. So yeah, teleport crest states all models. So there you're fine. So whilst the teleport crest is there, anything that is attached to it also has deep strike, so they can all rapid ingress. It's a Space Wolf world. We're just living in it. Oh! Anyway, broadsides came down, the commanders came down, the crisis suits came down, the strike team came down, the hammerhead went up. Thank God, they were so cheap. They were so cheap with the ion cannons. But yeah, so it just gives you a few more options. It doesn't change much. Breaches are still going to be really good. Riptides are still really good. Hammerheads are still good at the points cost. So overall a nice change. Thousand Suns, things came down, but they obviously had a huge nerf, which is not even talked about yet. We need to go through that in a minute. But some things you don't see very often came down, like the Exalted Sorcerer on Disc, the Scarabs, and the Mutilith. Tyrannids got some interesting changes. So Biovols have come down because their Spore Mines can't do actions. But also, Stab, if you're watching, I stand corrected. You were correct. Spore Mines can deploy near infiltrators. The 12-inch stopping you deploying doesn't stop Spore Mines. So Stab, I was wrong. They've changed it. I think I was right before, but they have updated it. So Spore Mines, if you got something that says you can't deep strike within 12, Spore Mines don't count. Alright? Very funny. especially when they come down in points. Muculi Spore is also cheaper. Neuralict a little bit more expensive. Obviously, a very common unit, so understandable. Ripper Swarms went up for 1 model and down for 3. And then Servigon's gone down. I think the Trigons can also get Vanguard keyword now as well, which is cool. That's going to open up some interesting detachments. And then Neuronode, I can't remember what this is. Sorry, chat. It's trying to remember every single enhancement. It's crazy trying to remember all the names of them. And then World Eaters, 8-bound came down. Don't know why. 8-bound's still the best unit in the Codex, but they're the points changers. Okay. They're the points changers for the army. So the game, sorry. So, and then that's it. That's all I've got. We can go through the rest of Balanced DataSlate, but if you haven't already, please like the stream. There's 187 watching and 40 of you liked it. That we could be 150 likes. That'd be very sick. And also, if you haven't already, please become a member. I like to do giveaways every single stream, so if you haven't already, please support the channel. Let's get the member goal up to 445. That'd be very sick. We just need 9. If one in 18 of you, no, 1 in 20 of you become a member, we'll hit the member goal. Okay? But if 1 in 180 of you, we get loads of member goals. Okay? So let's have a look at the balanced data slate just to make sure we've not missed anything. And then we'll just go through the last few documents to make sure I've covered absolutely everything for this video. And then we'll call it a day. Okay? The only Templar changes are to the vehicle capacity. I can't see the restriction change. It's in the Space Marine FAQ then, I believe. I believe it's in the Space Marine FAQ, if it's not there. So we've already talked about those. We've talked about all this. Over here, we've talked about the Templars, the Gladiators getting more capacity. We talked about this. We talked about Warp Talons. We talked about Demonic Incursion. We talked about Inner Circle. We've talked about Death Guard. We've talked about Death Watch. Lol. We've talked about Brotherhood Librarian can't snipe Lone Operative anymore. They are all the same. Imperial Knights got the super heavy walker change, which teleport through walls. Actually crazy. They didn't change. Necrons, as I said, 1 unit excluding monster can use Cosmic Precision, which is 3-inch deep strike. Green Tide, we've talked about that as well. We've talked about all these. They're obviously important. These ones, that's why the enhancements are cheaper, because they're now only 1 unit rather than all units within 6. Champions Worth Rust. This is a little change. At the start of the first battle round, select a saga. That previously it was the end of a battle round, and you choose one for the rest of the game. Now you just choose one every turn. You get that saga, okay, which is all the abilities from the characters, I believe. Oh, it's just all models. Like, every model in your army gets the ability. You choose it every turn rather than every... oh, no, do you choose it? Yeah, at the end of each player's turn, you can change the saga. Which is kind of cool. What's next? Thousand Suns. So Thousand Suns got loads of changes. I'm going to have to stand over here and read it, okay? So Cabal, what can I do? Wait, can I do this? I'm so sweaty. I'm going to take this off, chat. I'm so warm. It's like 30 degrees in here. I'm so warm. I shut the window because I was shouting as well. I'm actually roasting. Okay. Okay. Right. Cabal of Sorcerers. Change the last sentence of the first paragraph. Each time you select each ritual, select 1000 Suns model for your army, excluding models that have already been selected for this rule. Then apply the ritual's effect to that psycho. Okay. Is it sensible for events using DATASLATE in an RTT this weekend? If you tell your players you can submit a list on the day, then yeah, probably. For an RTT, I'd recommend it. If it's a big GT, maybe not. But it's an RTT, it's not many players, they can work their way around it, you know? They can work it out on the day. If it's a big event, I probably would recommend it. No worries, Ginger Ninja. Mercy's Weakness is also 2 CP. I think I already mentioned that one, but yes, Mercy's Weakness, which is the crits on 5s for vehicles, is 2 CP. Twist of Fate now improves the AP by 2. Twist of Fate previously turned off saves. Now it's AP, 2 additional AP. Which is obviously still good, but it's not turn off saves, okay? Doombolt means you can't target things that are lone operative, obviously. That's the main thing. Apparently their win rate is 45% win rate. Apparently their 45% win rate was oppressive. Well, Iron Hands, they weren't 45%, they were much higher. Space speeds overall are low, but that's because there's so many factions in there. So yeah, so now you can't target lead operative essentially with Doombolt. Temporal Surge, you can't use the same thing. Temporal Surge is the free move, right? You can't do it twice. Because what would happen is you'd move Magnus with Temporal Surge, do loads of shenanigans, and then use Temporal Surge again to pull him back. Now you can't do that. I think that's the main change there. Even though you can use the same ritual twice, you can't select the same unit twice. So you can't like triple move Magnus. So Magnus can't go 50 inches a turn. He now goes like 24, I think. Something like that. Twist is only in the shooting phase now. Oh yeah, true. Yeah, Twist of Fate, which in true basic AP is only during the shooting phase. Good shout. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. And then Exalted Sorcerer on Disc, which went down in points. In your shooting phase, as the model is shot, select one enemy unit that was hit by one or more of those attacks with its arcane fire. Until the start of next turn, it is pinned, and then subtract 2 from its move and subtract 2 from its charge rolls. I don't know what that was before, because again, I don't remember seeing it, to be honest. Binding Tendrils. At the end of your movement phase, select one enemy unit with 18. Oh, so you shoot it now instead of choosing an enemy unit with 18. It doesn't do mortal wounds, and it's only -2. That's a huge nerf. Sorry, Professor, it's Martine or Jamartin, not Martin. Sorry, Martin. That's a huge nerf. That's why they came down in points, okay? So it used to be half move, advance, and charge. Now it's -2 to move, -2 to charge. Bruh. And it was extra mortal wounds as well. So Tyrannid's got a whole bunch of changes. As I said, like, you get 3d6 synapse, but also you get +1 strength, which is really cool, I think. I think that's great. Shadowing the Warp. Each time an enemy unit takes a Shock test, if it's within 6 of a synapse unit, subtract 1 for the test. So a little bit more Battle Shock shenanigans. Just a nice little change. It's not crazy strong, but it's just a nice if you're already playing Tyrannids. Just like a little bit added on, you know? An extra strength here and there is going to help out. A little bit added on with the Shadow Warp is nice to help out as well. Now, these ones I've not seen Crusher Stampede on the table ever, so chat, you're going to have to help me out. Each rotating monster from your army makes an attack. Add 1 to the hit roll if that model unit is below its side strength, and add 1 to wound roll as well as below its half strength. In addition, while turning monster unit from your army is at starting strength, add 2 to the OC. Oh, that's just fucking sick. That's actually just sick. So +2 OC, that's really cool. So obviously Battle Shock don't get it, so if the Battle Shock they're still OC 0, but they get +2, that's actually really cool. The Ferocity Stratagem. Until the end of the phase, each time model in your unit makes a normal, advance, or fallback move, it can move through models, excluding Titanic. Oh, and it can teleport through walls. So Untrammeled Ferocity. So the Shadow would be definitely -2. Probably. More than likely. Untram. So this is turning monster can move as if through enemy models if they're friendly until the offense any desperate escape are automatic. So now it doesn't ignore desperate escape, I don't think anymore, but you can walk through walls and units. So that's really good. That's a really, really, really strong change. That's the same as the Imperial Knights now, essentially. So teleport through walls on a 1-year Battle Shock. I don't think that's really that bad. I think that's fine. If you're a Knight player or a Tyrannid player with this strategy, you're like, okay, whatever. But that's still really good. So let's check let's double check the Death Leaper, shall we? Death Leaper. All units within 6 worsen the leadership by 1. In addition, in the Battle Shock step, if it's below starting strength, it must take a Battle Shock. Yeah, so that makes it -1. And then Shadowing the Warp Army rule, which, if it's within 6 of a Synapse, which it is Synapse, yeah, so it'll be -2 if you need the Death Leaper. So I think they're trying to really spam additional Battle Shock, because Battle Shock at -1 isn't that big. -2, -3 is something really interesting. Anyone want to buy an Orc faction? Pretty much dead now. Don't be stupid. Meganobs were broken. You know that. Lictor gets Synapse. Very cool. Neuro Tyrant can attach the Zone Thropes. Actually makes sense. Actually makes sense. So the big brain bug can go with the brain bugs. Actually crazy. What the fuck? Broodlord and Parasite get Shadow in the Warp, so obviously they can do the trigger, which is cool. They also get Synapse, so they're giving out -1 as well. Morlock, Raveners, and Trigon all get Vanguard Invader, so the Vanguard Assault Detachment now can play with Trigons, which is cool. Exocrine gets Strength 9, so it gets an additional strength. I think a big complaint of Tyrannid is low strength. Now they're Strength 9, and then the Synapse will give them +1 strength in combat as well, which is cool. And then the Tyrannid effects is D6 +6. Does that mean zones with Tyrant get big guns never tire? I think it's models big guns never tire. We have the Tyrannid effects. I don't update my app yet, you see. Tyrannid effects, range weapons, is 2d6, and that's d6 +6. That's a fucking huge change. It's a crazy good change. Jamati, thanks for the gifted, man. Really appreciate it. Very kind of you. Become a member if you haven't already, and please gift if you haven't already, because you're being cringe. Exocrine, I think it was strength 8.
Gifted member.
Yeah, strength 8, 3, not strength 9. Really, really nice changes there, especially because they haven't gone up in points as well. And then World Eaters haven't changed. That's like the main thing from the balanced data slate. That's everything we missed. What's next? The Toilet Compendium, we went through everything. Rules commentary. There's so much to talk about here. I'm not going to go through everything. There is just so much. Again, a lot of it you already know. The main thing is redeployments, as I mentioned. Everyone who redeploys is before the first turn. Always deploy. Rules that allow players to redeploy certain units after both armies are deployed are always resolved during the deploy army step. So after everyone's deployed, before the first turn roll. Out of phase rules just clarifies again, you know this. Persistent effects, you know this. Gaining CP, you know this. Battle shock, you know this. Move unit. Again, a lot of it's like makes sense. Like this is the base thing. So like obviously the wings of the Bloodthirster don't go through these two walls, but the base does. So if you can move through the walls, you can, as long as you can end on the other side. So if your base fits and nothing else does, that's fine. The base is the important bit if you're on a base. Mercenary King, thanks for the gift. I really appreciate you. Look at that. We're nearly at the goal now, chat. Look at that. We're nearly at the goal. Keep gifting. Keep going.
Gifted.
So pivot. Models have a pivot value of 0. Monster and vehicle have a pivot value of 2, but then in the tournament compendium it says anything not on a round base has a pivot value of 2. Still don't know what that means. Is an oval base a round base? No. So an oval base is not a round base, but it's an oval base. Biggest change in dead wounds. Yeah, we spoke about dead wounds right at the start. It was one of the big points I brought up. But yeah, so now you can pivot. Things on round bases don't technically pivot, but things that don't have a base do pivot. And you spend 2. Essentially, they're trying to make things faster, look, as you can see. The same vehicle moves 6-inch straight line, then 4-inch another straight line, pivoted around its central axis. The pivot subtracts 2 from its remaining distance it can move, so it cannot move further. So pivoting, it costs you 2 inches, essentially. That's what they're trying to say. So this is, like, big to watch out for, okay? And then this one, overhang, pivot value of 2. It's exactly the same. So anything on an oval has pivot value 2. So when it's charging, if you want to turn it, it only costs 2 inches rather than whatever it would have cost before. So it makes knights better as well. Firing deck, you can't use one-shot abilities anymore. We already knew that, really. Mortal wounds, this is talking about devastating wounds. That's the big change there. And hazardous as well is the same. It doesn't overspill. Indirect. 1 to 3 always fails no matter what. That's the big change there. Hazardous, again, it's same as dead wounds. It does mortals, but it doesn't spill if you've got it on a character or whatever. If the guy's got 1 wound, your character's got 1 wound and he blows himself up, the unit doesn't take 3 mortal wounds, the 1 model does. Go back to firing deck. What did I miss? You can select up to X models marked within it whose units have not already shot this phase. Oh, good shot. I missed that one. So Eliminator, the Eliminator combo is dead now. Ah, what a shame. They nerfed the Eliminator combo. Right, okay, chat. Very sad day for old Hellstorm. Sad day for Hellstorm. Where is it? God damn it. The Eliminator Pulsar trick is the best combo in the Codex. Where's edit? Edit. Never mind. Was the best combo. We gave it a good go, chat. We gave it a good go. Well, there's a list I know. Never mind. There's not a sponsor on it as well. I hope they're not mad. I hope they're not mad. Or maybe I'll just leave it up. Maybe I'll leave it up, whatever. Yeah, I'll leave it up for now. Was until June 2024. Yeah, I'll leave it up, but it's got clarification now. There you go. So now it's a dead ability. Combo so good they have to change the rules of the game. You're so welcome, everyone. You're so welcome. Yeah, I didn't even spot that. No, well done. That's the thing. There's so much to go over here that I'm not gonna be able to catch everything. I've tried to catch most of it. But yeah, so firing deck, you can't shoot one-shot ability, and you can't use the eliminators. Pop in, pop out again. What else have we got? All of this is just saying you can't reduce things to less than one. Deep strike. If a unit has a deep strike arrives to reserves, you can deep strike. Again, this is all like rapid ingress, etc. Now you see that Megadobs is still really good. A 5-up Thinner Pain is really good. 4 was crazy. Each time the last model of bodyguard unit, each character unit that is part of the attached unit becomes a separate unit with 0 starting strength. Each time the last model character unit is attached to a bodyguard unit destroyed, there's not another character unit attached. The attached unit's starting strength becomes the original. Okay, this is just clarification. Has this changed too? But did it only changed to say they didn't spill, right? It's flat 3. Oh yeah. It's always flat 3. Oh shit, yeah. You can't pass off hazards. You couldn't pass off hazards anyway. Yeah, so you take 3 more wounds, but they don't spell. That was the change. That's what I thought the change was. If more wounds are inflicted as a result of hazardous or devastating, that scored a critical wound. Each time there's more wounds are allocated to the model. If that model is destroyed as a result, there's more wounds. The remaining more wounds and attack are lost. So hazardous doesn't spill, but you also take 3 mortal wounds. So you don't just lose a model now. So if you have a feeling of pain, that's pretty good. If you have something that ignores mortal wounds, pretty good. It's always 3. Okay, it clears it up a little bit because it's weird what sometimes taking 1, sometimes taking 3. It makes attack with extra melee weapons equipped with, and makes attacks with one of the melee weapons equipped with that doesn't have the extra attacks, if any. I don't know this change, I don't understand it. We've done that one, we know that one. You can feel no pain hazardous now. Yeah, it's just 3 more wounds, I think. I don't understand why you couldn't. Because it used to just say kill a model. Now it's 3 mortal wounds. I think it's fine. Again, a lot of the changes don't really make sense, but they're kind of like clarifications of other shit, right? Any phase you make an advance roll, charge roll, desperate escape test, or hit, a wound, a damage roll, or a saving throw, or number of attacks. If you're using fast dice, you can still roll it even if you throw it once, and you can just let one. That's fine. Insane bravery. I don't know why that's got changed. I don't understand what the change on insane bravery is. Oh! No, it hasn't changed, does it? When? Battle shock step of your command phase just before you take a battle shock test for a unit from your army. That unit from an army, the unit automatically passes. So the wording's changed, but the ability hasn't. Stanky, you're welcome. Thanks, Miss, thank you. Grenades, we've already clarified. From the grenades model to throw grenades, and you can't do it if you fell back. All changes are red, even all changes. Yeah, but they've got a plus. So this plus sign means it's new. So I don't know why it's got that. But it's just a wording update, that's all. Tank shock is to toughness, which is like a big change. Obviously, if you're a tank, you're actually better at doing tank shock now, which is quite funny. Rapid ingress, if everybody has deep strike, they can deep strike. Fire Overwatch didn't change. Ruins, Imperium Primarchs and Call can walk through walls. Visibility. Models that are within this terrain vision can be seen on the tower. Models that are within the terrain vision can also see out of the model. Yeah, I think that's fine. models that are within this terrain feature can be seen normally. And Tyrannid models that are within this terrain can be seen out of it normally. I don't think that's changed, has it? Has Ruins changed, except for the walking through walls? I don't think it has. I don't think it has. And this one as well. Just, you have to select the warlord. Okay. Whatever. And then the big FAQ. This is the big one. I'm not going to go through this. It's so much. A lot of it you already know. A lot of it you already played before. Just sit and read it. I'm not going to sit and read it at you because people will just be bored. Let's be honest. And then the previous rules commentary. Look, like just after. Do I have to sit here and read this? I have, but it's like a lot of it is just like it's just clarifying what we already know. It's nothing like I don't think there's anything like crazy new in here. You know what I mean? But like this, Big Guns Never Tire. I've already mentioned that one. I've given you the highlights. And I'm pretty sure I've clarified everything. If there's anything I've missed that you've noticed I've not talked about, now's the time to bring it up. Fight on death, you're not selected technically. Fast dice, you can re-roll. Hull, let's have a look. Excluding walkers, excluding walker models that have a base, and models that do not have a base, measure to and from the hull. So as I said, we've already talked about how the pivot can be abused probably. Immediately, see, just after. If the base can fit the model, the move rule was described as if it fits, I say. It's quite literally, yeah. If it fits, it can slit through. This is the section about spore mines. When a repossessing unit itself on the battlefield, there are enemies in the battlefield cannot be settled within. There's a mission rule, etc. You cannot be set up. Oh no, it's not. It's not that bit. The models in that repossession unit can be set up within. It gets repositioned. There's another bit with like adding a new unit. Round bases. No, there's one for you here. Some rules refer to round bases. Round bases are ones whose footprint is circular, as opposed to an oval base whose footprint is oval. I like them saying in the command roll to say, yes, you can fast roll. Yeah, the command re-roll, fast rolling is really nice. It just speeds up the game. Yeah, you gain loads of information, but so does your opponent when they roll as well. Oh my god, you got called out, mate. Beep, 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 beep. I don't think there's anything else, really, that I've missed. I'm giving you, again, they're giving you the highlights. I think that's everything. What are the documents we have to look through? We've done the points, we've done the compendium, we've done the balanced data slate, we've done the core rules from commentary. I think that's everything, honestly. I think we nailed it. I think we nailed it. Well done, chat. Well done. Well done, everyone at home. Give yourself a pat on the back. We nailed every single bit. We've gone through the playlist like 7 times. Chill Nintendo music to work to. So what do you think of the official GW tournament missions? I mean, I like the variety. I definitely like the variety. I like the layouts. The main thing is I like the layouts with measurements. So that's really good. And I like how many there is as well. And I also like that I was speaking to the GW reps. I had a meeting about this last week. They were like, we put measurements on and we haven't messed with the terrain because we know that people have already invested in the terrain. You know, we don't want to like ruin the terrain packs that people have built towards for the past year because we know people are using them, which I also think is really nice. You know, because like anything that Games Workshop do, we kind of have to like follow, not through like because we have to, but just because that's what most people are doing. That's what people expect. So that's what we like strive towards, or what I strive towards as a tournament organizer. You know. But like the fact that they just went, yeah, we didn't want to ruin the terrain or the bases because people have already invested. I just think that was really nice. It's just like something that they don't have to do, but they did. There's a lot of things that I criticize Games Workshop for, and there are a lot of things that they do wrong, in my opinion. But also, I think a lot of the time they do a lot of things right. Okay, every time they give, they do take. Every time they take, they do give back. You know, look at like their profit margin. They're just giving out 18 million to their staff because of the obscene profits they've just had. They don't have to do that. They can just give it to shareholders. So that's really good. Okay, and the terrain packs are really good. It's really nice that there's so many to add a lot of variety, because I think in the last one there's a couple that are a bit weird, and the terrain shadows didn't really make sense, and there's no measurements, and it was just shit. And these are really good. I really like this because I can just copy these and bang them into my map pack. But it's just like it feels like I don't want to blow him too hard, right? I don't want to blow him too hard. Ever since Josh got that job at Games Workshop, it just feels like competitively they're like this now. You know, before they were trying, but they also just had like old mindsets. But they've got like a new guy who previously worked on League of Legends as like the lead of 40k now, right? And they've got Josh, who is very on it, and you can feel the change now. I think, you know, I think you can feel the change, which is good. Some of them are wrong apparently. What's wrong? The map layouts. That's fine, they'll get updated. I didn't get this until like really late either, because they were still updating it. But yeah, so they feel like they've put the right people in the right place. You can see it in Age of Sigmar, because Age of Sigmar is getting some really interesting changes, and the Matt Rose, I can't remember what he did before, but he worked in game design, and they've got people who work in game design working on a game, which I think is really good. So, but yeah, so like all the missions are really, there's just loads of them. That's what I like about it. I don't know if they look really good because there's so many to look at. But I'm excited to just choose a couple and we'll try them out at our event on the 31st and 1st of September. If you haven't grabbed a ticket, please do. I am going to go bankrupt because we haven't sold out, so I'm just trying to recoup some money so I don't have to put my personal money back into it, so I don't go bankrupt, okay? Some of the measurements are incorrect. Okay, well, it's something I'll look into then. But I didn't realise that. But it's fine because they will get changed. They will get updated, which is nice. So it's fine. Map packs are hard to draw. I know that more than anyone. It's a shame they're not correct straight away, but I like that there's so many. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt to get updated. But I think that's everything. Overall, thank you Games Workshop for sending the early balance data slate and all the updates early. That was really kind of you. And I'm really excited. They just sometimes seem like they're on the ball, right? That's what I think. Anyway, chat, I think that's about it. We got no giveaway because we didn't make the members, unless someone's about to drop 10 on me. And I've got no more balance data slate stuff to talk about. So if there's anything you want to ask me, now's the time. But otherwise, I'm going to go. I'm going to finish some editing. And I'm going to play Elden Ring DLC because it comes out tonight. I wasn't lying. I'm going to be playing some Elden Ring DLC. I'm probably going to do it on stream. I don't know if I'm going to play it tonight or tomorrow morning all day. I'm just waiting for Billy to get back to me about a battle report tomorrow. That'll be ultimately the decider. If Billy's like, yeah, let's do a battle report, I won't be streaming the Elden Ring DLC all day. But if he does, I will. As a Votan player, should I cry? It's a shame that Votan didn't get touched, but don't forget, as I always say, if your army didn't get touched, but another army got nerfed, your army got better. Jamarty, thank you for the 5, man. You've been carrying the gifted today. I really appreciate it. Thank you, bud. That's really kind of you, buddy.
Gifted member.
I'm going to cover the Space Marine 2 stuff. It's on in like an hour, 2 hours, is it? Is it on in 2 hours? If it's on in an hour, I'll stay live. If it's on in 2 hours, I'll get a miss.
Gifted member.
3 more who will do it. Yeah, that is only 3 if you want to do a giveaway. We'll just go straight into marbles and do it. Thanks, Martin. You're a legend, mate. Thanks for the 5. Conga, thank you for the gift as well. I'll come over and give you a kick in. Are you local, Jace? If you're local, potentially. I kind of want to play G's to the Cults, but I'd have to like make a model. I don't have a
gifted member.
Well, it's Elden Ring time. So Elden Ring at 11. I can't pre-install it though, so I'm a bit like maybe I go to bed and play it as first thing as when I get up. Take Georgie to work, come back,
Gifted
stream.
member.
Chat, would you watch me play Elden Ring? Not really, I'm in Liverpool. Oh, okay. Maybe not then. Bit far for you, mate. Bear in mind it's at Sanctuary where I stream. Thanks, Jim Martin. Love you, man. But yeah, maybe I'll get up first thing in the morning, because I was thinking about going live this evening and then going to bed mid-stream and leaving the stream on. Well, maybe I'll leave it until tomorrow and just go live all day. What I miss, the balanced data slate. Feel free to rewind, buddy. But hopefully you enjoyed the presentation. I try and like get most of the highlights and make it enjoyable. Reading balanced data slates is really dry, really boring. There's a lot of important information, but it's really shit. So hopefully you enjoyed this like breakdown of it and me going over it before I go through and miss everything, or like go through everything I've missed. I'm trying to find like a really interesting way to like make it interesting to watch, make it a little bit fun, but also get the points across. All the info is tucked away. Yeah, so I've tried to go through like just the highlights of the main thing, and then I've just gone through and just read it and just done all the bits I missed. I find it pretty entertaining. Thank you. Thank you, Sass. Appreciate it. 3 hours till Space Marine Suffix at 5. Yeah, probably not. I'll probably just talk about it on the stream another time. Certainly a lot less drier than the uni lectures I've been in. It was not dry at all, because I was sweating everywhere. I was wearing a lab coat. It's so hot in here. I was like, whacking the window open to let some air in. It's so warm. I've got like fucking, it's like fucking 40 degrees in here or something. It's probably not that warm, still. But yeah, thank you very much for hanging out, everyone. I really appreciate you all. Thank you for the last minute gifted. Yeah, I'll probably be back tomorrow. So share this streaming with your friends if you haven't already. I know it's a bit of a long one. I'll try and do some timestamps, so at least it's digestible. But it's just like a lot to go over. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. Very confused with the rhino habit change, or am I thick? What are you confused about, Phil? What's the rhino habit change? This model can be equipped with one habit launcher or one combi weapon with one habit launcher. I think it's so you can't take double storm bolter. I think. Oh, we didn't do the FAQs. I can't remember. We didn't do the FAQs. That's the only thing I missed. But I think I covered most of the big things. I'm sure there's more. But I can't be bothered to go over more. Chaos Rhino War Gear. Let's have a look, mate. This can be equipped with one habit launcher, or can replace one combi bolter with one habit launcher. Oh, can it take 2 habit launchers? Chaos Rhino. War Gear options. Change the second bullet point. This model can be equipped with one habit launcher. This model can be equipped with one habit launcher, or replace one combi bolter with one habit launcher. Alright, so you can't have. Because it's equipped with. Let me have a look. Unit composition. How do you see what it's actually equipped with? So it can be equipped with a combi bolter or a combi weapon, and then it can be equipped with a combi weapon and a habit launcher, or one habit launcher. I think it's so you can't take 2 bolters. Is a rhino equipped with nothing? I think it's so you can't take 2 combi weapons. You give it a combi weapon, and then you replace it with a habit launcher. You can have one. You can't have 2 bolters. You can have one and the other. 78 deaths. Oh shit! Shut up! I got stuck. Why would you replace a weapon when you can just take it? I think it's just so you can't take double bolters. Because a rhino's equipped with nothing, right? I'm trying to find where it just says this unit is equipped with. Oh, in the unit composition. Okay. A rhino. Hey, Jamati, thanks for the gifted, bud. I'm just going to do marbles
Gifted
race for
member.
everyone who's gifted. I'm not going to do free giveaway today. Thanks for all the gifted, bud. It's probably going to be Marty because I think he's donated the most, but... This model is equipped with a combi bolter. Then you can give him a combi bolter. And you can replace a combi bolter with a havoc weapon. So you can take 2 havoc weapons? No. You can take 2 bolters and a havoc weapon. I don't know what it is. I don't understand. I don't understand what the change is either, okay? I got no fucking idea. Just fucking put some havoc weapons on it and call it dead. No one will question you. No one will question it. I've got no idea. Down you go! 1 havoc for free or remove a bolter. Yeah, I don't understand that. So you can take 2 bolters of a havoc launcher, or you can take 1 bolter and a havoc launcher, or you can take 1 bolter and replace a bolter with a havoc weapon. I don't know. I don't know. It means you can have all the options. You can take... you can take a combi weapon and a havoc launcher,